All right. So, Justin, I know you're out here doing a lot of executive coaching, and I'm curious in South Africa, where I think most of your clients are, what is the rate of adoption for AI? What are you seeing in how your companies are using it, your clients are using it in their businesses, in their daily lives? I'm just curious how they're implementing AI.
Yeah. I'm curious how they're implementing AI as well. It's a good question. I think what is, and this is going to sound like a silly answer, what is undeniable is that the adoption of being interested in implementing AI is sky high. And that's an interesting one because I haven't always seen that with changes in technology or changes in the way things work previously. Some people were quite happy to live with their kind of head in the sand, knowing that,
Mhm.
oh, this isn't really going to impact me or my business or whatever it is. So I'm just going to ignore it. Whereas AI has become that thing that it is too hard to ignore. So people are absolutely hell bent on figuring out a way to implement it. I think for the most part, a lot of the executive coaching that I do, the way people are using it is trying to become a tool to create space, capacity, and time for themselves. That's first and foremost the route that they're going. And then secondly, it is the idea of how do I have a smart bunch of people in my corner? So how do I use it to create a board of advisors, or how do I use it to not pay the strategy consultant, but have ChatGPT or Claude or whatever help me craft the strategy for my business going into the new year, and I just have to then translate and execute it with my team. So that's kind of the entry point to the way people are using it. But on the other side of the spectrum, a large client, and they've just rolled it out with their inside sales team, where what they're doing is they are using it in order to process or look for discrepancies in internal orders that are being processed. So as
Mhm.
orders for their goods are coming through, that's being captured by the inside sales team. That is then going through a, let's call it little an AI algorithm, and they're looking for discrepancies between what the client has requested, what has been sent through to the manufacturer, and they're trying to nip that in the button or catch it early so that they don't have any massive issues on hand. And it's worked well so far. So there's really a big, I mean, there's a vast spectrum of how it is and isn't being used. But you and I have spoken about this before. What I do see, it's overwhelming. It's an overwhelming space, and that's why humans like you exist, is to try and reduce that overwhelm and make it something that can be, it's bite-sized pieces, and you can spend 2 hours with Ethan and walk away with some functional applications that you've rolled out in your business.
Yeah, yeah, that's my goal. That's what keeps me busy is because that's the main thing I hear is I know we should be using AI, but I have no idea where to start.
Yeah.
But besides your everyday things like, helping me write emails, and then most people don't even really know how to use it correctly for that, so they kind of shy away from it because they're like, "Oh, this sounds like crap anyway," if they're not customizing it the right way. But yeah, I'm curious to see because there's that statistic that's been flying around about that MIT study. It said that 95% of businesses reported zero ROI on their AI investments
Mm.
when they did a examination. I guess it was like Fortune 500 companies or something. So, my goal is to try to get what are the 5% doing that are seeing a return on investment, and how can we implement that in our businesses through practical ways that anybody can do. We start with, first of all, customizing it, then looking at your day-to-day workflows and looking for, first of all, what are the repetitive tasks, and then where are your constraints, your time blockers. And if we can attack those, then that will free up
Mm.
your entire team. And most of your repetitive tasks, if you're doing anything in a web browser that it doesn't require a lot of decision making, say it's filling out forms or data entry, entering things on a spreadsheet, whatever, you could probably have AI do at least 80% of that for you. Even if you're putting in an agent mode or using an agentic browser like ChatGPT Atlas or Perplexity Comet, it's just a matter, it's really the biggest thing is the mindset shift in thinking, how can I automate this? And it's usually something that is boring to you or mundane. Like, get all of that stuff off of your plate so you can enjoy doing the things that you love to do. That's the message I preach.
Have you noticed in your experience that people, as a first foray into AI, they generally try to get it to do really sexy things rather than, to your point now, looking at the boring, focusing on the mundane, and how do I remove that from my day to day? And then I can spend more time on doing the sexy things that I'm wanting to do in my business.
Yeah, you're probably right about that they do, because think about how you were introduced to AI. Like the first use case is maybe, it can write this whole thing for you. I remember when ChatGPT
Yeah.
first came out, there were people talking about, oh, you could just tell AI to write a book for you and it'll write the whole book. Well, yeah, it will, but it's going to be an absolute crap book that's terrible, short, inauthentic, full of cliche words. There's no soul to it. So I think when people are introduced to its capabilities that way, and that it'll say yes to basically any request outside of certain safety guardrails, then I think people do want to try it for those. I think you said sexy things, right? Whereas the real power is in the very simple tasks that you can, if you could offload it to a human being. Let's say you had a college intern who you hire for the summer, and you want to give them some easy tasks that to take off your plate, or everyone in your company, things that nobody wants to do, but you want to give it to this intern and they get to get some experience. And you type up a document and you teach them, here's how you do this step by step. If you could do that and everything can be done inside of a web browser, then you could do it through AI. Any type of step by instructions written in plain English could be a prompt that you put into an agent, like a ChatGPT agent mode, or some type of agentic browser. And so when you think of it that way, and you get detailed with the prompting, then it makes it easier. And another thing that I teach that I've learned recently is that the better you are at communicating with AI, the better you become at communicating with humans. Because
Interesting.
yeah, we often leave gaps in our communication and we don't realize it. Think about if you're a business leader, you're delegating a task to someone else, you're leaving out a lot of things that are in your brain, but you're not telling the other person that important step that they need to do in order to execute those important details along the way. When you try to delegate something to AI, you quickly see it missing that step, and you have to tell it, oh no, click over here in the top right corner of the screen on the blue button sometimes, because sometimes it does get hung up. As smart as AI is, it's kind of a dumb child. So when you think about each one of those details and over communicating to get the expectation so it can meet your expectations, if we do that same thing with humans, then our businesses would probably be a lot more smoother operating.
Yeah. So what would be the first as an individual, and let's not go step into speaking about businesses just yet, but as an individual, what do you suggest is a great thing for a first time AI implementer to look at automating in their lives as a way to save some time, get some time back? Generally speaking, generally, broad brushstrokes. What's a good starting point?
It's tough for me to think about that outside of any type of work realm. But, they say the number one use of AI is as a therapist. That's what most people use
Yeah.
it. Which it's a good one, especially the more it knows about you, then the better it will give you more sound advice. So
Mm.
you need to get in there, flesh out your custom instructions, use it a lot, tell it to memorize things about you, add it to your memory, because the more it knows about you, and it needs to know about where you are present day, and also tell it your goals as to where you want to go in
Mm.
the future. Then it can help you the best, because if you leave those areas vague, it might give you advice. It might give me advice for that would be more suitable for Justin than it would be for Ethan. So really customizing it and tailoring it, that's probably the first thing. I do think it can be used responsibly as a therapist or a coach of sorts, but it has to know about you, where
Mm.
you are presently and where you want to go in as much detail as possible in order to be useful to you. And then once you do that, then you can use it for all other types of
Mm.
things in life. I mean, I've had ChatGPT. For example, I had a light switch that needed to be changed on the outside of my house, and I just put ChatGPT in agent mode, and I said, "Hey, go find me an electrician that can replace this outlet for me, and find the top three, choose the highest rated one, and fill out a form on their website and book an appointment for me." And I just went on a walk, and it had done it for me. And then the electrician showed up the next Monday. So like making it your personal assistant should be the goal for everyone. And then, and this is what I teach too, because you want to get your employees to adopt it, or if you manage people, but a lot of people are resistant to it. But when you show people how it can benefit them personally, and it's not just another work tool, it's not another software, a burden that I have to learn for work. When you show them, oh, this is cool and it'll benefit you in your life personally, And you can also use it for work. Once they understand how to use it personally, then it makes it the transition that much easier to here's how I can use it for work as well.
Yeah, the crazy thing, and I think what we've got to do is wrap our heads around the fact that, and I'm trying to think of a good example, but this is going to be the way that we all function going forward, the way that we all work going forward. And I mean, you and I were speaking about in the year 2000, we wouldn't have been able to have this conversation. We
Right.
well, we wouldn't have been able to be recording this conversation in this way, rather. And this is just now how we operate. We don't even think about that. I was thinking when I was traveling as a youngster, I had to put money onto an international call card and go to a phone box and call home because it wasn't just easy to make a WhatsApp phone call, which is what we've all become accustomed to now. The other example of crazy things that we used to have that we don't have now, I asked a group of individuals, do you remember what a choke was? A choke in your car, as in the little lever that you pulled out to inject more fuel if the car was really, really cold in the morning and it wasn't getting started. So you pulled this little lever and it injected more fuel into the engine and was able to start. And people looked at me and like, no, I have no idea what you say. And time just goes on. And what is the norm now once wasn't the norm. And I
Right.
think with AI, it's going to be things like self-driving cars. I know they are already a thing, but in a few years' time, we're going to be thinking, man, can you believe that we let these sacks of meat that are just humans drive and get behind the wheel of these killing machines, and everybody was just driving on the roads, and now that's just not the norm anymore. So we've got to start thinking like that. What is the norm now is not going to be the norm in, geez, a year's time, 2 years' time, 3 years' time, 4 years' time. It's just
Right.
changing so dramatically.
Yeah. When I was a kid, one of my favorite shows was Knight Rider,
Yeah,
where the car drove itself and he could talk to the car. And it's like that's here. Like that's normal now. It's
yeah,
crazy, right? Kit,
yeah.
wasn't that the name of the car? Kit,
Yeah,
KITT.
yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, you make
yeah,
a good point. Like this, you and I having this seamless video chat. You're in South Africa, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and it seemed that would not have been possible. Let's see, what even 2005, 20 years ago? I don't think
yeah,
that would have been possible. Like internet speeds had to be there first, because maybe some people were still on dial up. I think some people are still on dial up. I recently heard that. Um, and then we didn't even have like FaceTime wasn't even a thing in 2005. So 20 years
yeah.
wasn't that long ago. And you see the rate of change and different things become possible at different levels.
Yeah, for me, the interesting thing is as well, it's not only the technological change, it's the willingness to do it or use it. So what I mean by that is a lot of us used to feel deeply uncomfortable jumping on a video call and you see yourself, and then the only thing you can do is look at yourself and think how weird you look and how weird your voice is, and this is the worst experience in the world. And most of us have got over that now. It's just,
Not only that, but younger kids, well, and I say younger
yeah,
kids, I actually mean like 30 and younger.
yeah,
Their default is FaceTime. They go to
yeah,
video calls first. I see it all the time. People come in our store, and I notice with the younger generation, like if they're on the phone, they have someone on a FaceTime call, and they'll just put the phone down, and the person's just sitting there looking. And to me, it's a little bit weird. Like, why wouldn't you just do an audio call? But I guess I'm old school. But they're just like their default is when I call someone, that person I see them answer. In fact, little kids think that when you're talking to someone, if you can't see their face, that something's wrong with the phone. Like it must be broken. I can't
right,
see granddad. I can only hear him. What's wrong?
yeah. There must be an intersection, or there's a point where you believe that you have now got to, you're old enough that you have a double chin, that you then just default to an audio call rather than an awkward angle for a video call. I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is.
Probably so. Yeah, it's a interesting world. So I was in wrapping this up, I'm like maybe what are your predictions? I want to hear your predictions for the near future that would involve AI that would not have been possible if it weren't for AI. What do you think is coming in the next, say, 5 to 10 years?
You've got to warn me before you ask me to make predictions, Ethan. You've obviously got one or two right. Get me off the hook here for a second. You share yours, and then give me a moment.
I actually asked you that, and I don't have a prediction. You know what? Maybe we'll park that, and we'll come back to that in another episode. How about that? Give you some
Yeah,
time
I
to think.
think that's fair. I want to give it a well thought out prediction rather than just a thumbsuck. What is going to be interesting, what I will say is being here in South Africa, what is going to be interesting to see is how adoption is different here to the rest of the world. Having recently come back from just spending a little bit of time in the UK, just the number of electric vehicles on the road, as an example, there is just so vastly different to what we've got here so far. So it's always going to be interesting how we lagging behind what is going on in the rest of the world, and at what point do self-driving cars become the law, and then does that get like rolled out globally? Is that the law globally? Is it just by jurisdiction, by state? What happens there? So there are a lot of things that go through my head when you say what are the predictions.
Yeah, I do
It's gonna
think
be
that
interesting.
I think it's pretty inevitable that there will be certain roads that humans are not allowed to drive on. Period. It will
Yeah.
be against the law. Just how we have expressways. Well, expressways weren't always there. They have a kind of a different set of rules for expressways as you do on surface streets. So we'll have. I'll just use the term like self-driving expressways, if you will, where these are only for self-driving vehicles, no humans allowed. And then those types of streets will grow more and more and more, and it will get to the point where having a car is just kind of like for sport, like how people
Mm-hmm.
buy horses now just for pets and for racing and for
Mm,
fun. Well, horses used to be our main form of transportation.
yeah.
Now, if you buy a horse, it's just for fun, and that'll be the same thing with cars. And it's hard to put a number on that. I think it will happen faster than we anticipate because the
Mm,
adoption of self-driving cars and the technology is getting better and better. The competition is heating up. We have so many different self-driving taxi companies here. You have Waymo, you have the Tesla Cyber Taxi, and I think there's another one. But when you get competition in the marketplace, that's when
mm,
things fall faster.
yeah.
So it's the ramifications of that. Like what happens when we no longer need to commit time to driving, and when
Yeah.
it's safer and fatalities are down and almost non-existent, we can use
Mm,
that time to be more productive in the car. You can jump in the car and start having meetings and emails immediately because you aren't having to drive. So that'll increase productivity. So that whole spiral effect, one thing leads to another. Like you won't even how will that affect parking decks, for example?
yeah.
When if I want to go to an event, I just get a car to drop me off. I get out, and then I get another car to come pick me up. And cars never have to park because cars are just always kind of
Mm,
moving around, picking people up, dropping them off. You don't have to own a car anymore. Why would you buy a car? It's just something to get you from A to B. You just jump in one when you need one. I do think that devices will get smaller. So as we transition from phone screens to glasses. By the way, I don't know if I told you, I ordered the new Meta glasses with the heads up
oh
display.
no.
Yeah, so
Uh,
they take a few weeks to deliver. So I'm anxiously waiting. It'll be my Christmas present to myself. But I went
crazy.
and did a demo in the store, and you use it's a heads up display, so you can see things on your screen. You can be looking at someone and get subtitles. It'll even
Mm,
live translate. A map will come up. So if you're walking around, you see a live map in front of you telling you turn by turn directions. It has my favorite part, it comes with this wristband. That's how you control it. And you can, with the camera, you can now zoom in on things through your
oh
glass.
wow.
Yeah. And then take a picture. And it's all through just hand gestures. So what, and this is early stage. I mean, we're going to go
Yeah.
from glasses, and there'll be more companies making these glasses. So the competition will heat up. And then I think we'll get down to like smart contact lenses to the
Mm,
point where we can almost control things with our thoughts. And
mm,
then, so when you combine that with the self-driving cars, listen, I said I didn't have any predictions. Now I have, now I have all these predictions, right? But when you combine that with self-driving cars, and think about it, you want to go to a concert with your wife, and you just think about it, and you purchase the tickets through thought, and then you order. Next thing you know, they know a car needs to come and pick you up to get you to the concert by a certain time. You just walk outside and get in the car without having to interface with anything, without having to pick
mm,
up a phone or a computer. All of this just happens. You go to the concert, you enjoy it. You don't have to pull out. You can record through your glasses or your contacts. So you don't have to pull out your phone to record and capture the moment. And then you walk outside and a car's waiting for you because it knows that you're ready to go. And
Yeah.
you never had to interface with, you never had to pull out a screen or type
Mhm.
anything. I think we'll see that faster than we realize.
Every time we speak about this, the question that comes up for me is like, is that a world I want to be in? And I, I have to say yes, because it's going to become the world I am in. So that's the reality. It's just crazy. Let's finish off one last question. When will we stop speaking about AI? When will it just become what the norm?
Uh, let's see. My prediction is in the next 3 to 5 years, it won't be a big thing. Like how we don't go around saying, "Oh, are you going to get on the internet today?"
Exactly.
It's part of our lives. Back in 1995 to 2005, people did say the word internet a lot. I guess it was kind of a buzzword. And AI will become a part of our lives, but we won't go around talking about AI, AI, AI. So that's my prediction. Next 3 to 5 years. What do you think?
Yeah, I would probably lean closer to 5 years. Again, it would be interesting. It might not be as it may not be spoken about as much in the US, which is probably a kind of melting pot of where a lot of this is happening. We're a little bit more removed from it. So yeah, I would say 5 years. 5 years, it's just not going to be a thing. The example I had in mind was exactly the same as yours. Hey man, I'm jumping on the internet today. It's just we just don't say that.
Yeah.
So it will be technology, the rate of change. Have you seen this new thing? It's not going to be AI did this. That'll be accepted. That is what is happening.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. So what's our king move? We've talked about so many things today with future predictions and adoption of AI. What's our king move that we want to leave people with this week?
I'm going with train your dragon because it's what you spoke about. And a lot of us do see this AI thing as a dragon to be slayed. And for those of us that are hesitating, get in onto your ChatGPT, Claude, whatever it is. Let your starting point be training it well. And then off the back of that, you'll be able to figure out what use cases. And at least you set up for success when you want those use cases to come in. But set it up. Set it up for success. So train the dragon.
Yeah, definitely. Get started now. If you've been putting
Yeah.
off AI because you're thinking, "Oh, I'm already behind. It changes too fast." Don't let that stop you. Just start somewhere and start using it because it's going to change it. It's going to accelerate at such a fast pace that you're going to get left behind and it's just going to compound. And you don't want to be like a Luddite, 2 years from now where you can't even catch up because you don't even know one thing is stacked on top of another and you don't even understand it because you didn't start now. So just commit, at least 20 minutes a day if you're not doing something at all. Commit 20 minutes a day to diving in, having conversations with AI, and ask. That's the beauty of this. You can ask AI how to help you. If you don't know where to start, say, here, just turn on your microphone, go into AI, turn on your microphone and say, I'm going to tell you some stuff about me. Here's what I do for a living. This is what my life is like. How can AI help me? Give me practical ways. And it will tell you how to use itself. So that would be my king move.
Being a good one. I'm sure they got hopefully there are a couple of nuggets hidden in here for the listeners. But Ethan, thank you.
All right. Thanks.